Hello everyone, I'm Anna and I work for Northern Ireland Water. Northern Ireland Water are the company that bring all the clean tap water into our homes and take away all the dirty water through the sewers. Could you imagine if that didn't happen? Not very nice. But we don't make the water. In fact, nobody does. The water comes to us through something called the water cycle. So that's what today's lesson is all about, how that water from the water cycle gets to our homes. So today we're introducing H2O. Now, H2O is just the fancy name that scientists give to water. And in fact, the H and the O are the two elements that make up water, H for hydrogen and O for oxygen. But even though we know what water's made from, we still can't make new water. Nobody can, but we'll come back to that later on. Hopefully you recognise this place, planet Earth. But did you know 3/4 or 75% of Earth is covered in water? Scientists often call us the blue planet. But although there's so much water, most of it isn't suitable for us humans because it's salty. 97% of Earth's water is salt water. That leaves 3% as fresh. But of that, 2% is frozen in the ice caps. That leaves only 1% of all that water as liquid fresh water that we can use. Not very much when you think about it, and makes us appreciate how important water actually is. So how does this fresh water actually get to us? Well, this is where we come into something called the water cycle. Because of course, Northern Ireland Water don't make the water. We borrow it from the water cycle. So we're going to watch H2O on his journey through that water cycle and how that ends up in our homes. So here comes H2O flying in his cloud. Clouds are how the water reaches the ground, often through rain, snow or sleet. Did you know a fancy word for rain, snow or sleet is precipitation? Some of that precipitation gets trapped in reservoirs. These are like huge lakes designed to collect water for people. Northern Ireland Water own 24 reservoirs right across the country, which are used to collect and store water for people to use. But of course that water isn't safe to drink or use just yet. Reservoirs are out in the open, so all sorts of things can get into the water. So the water has to be piped to a water treatment works where it's cleaned. Have you ever wondered how water's actually cleaned? Let's find out. So the first thing that happens in the treatment works is any of the larger objects that are in the water, like leaves or twigs, are removed. We do this by a thing called screening, which is really just like a big giant sieve. Watch the animation and you'll see how this is done. The next stage of cleaning is removing some of the dirty particles. We call this coagulation. A chemical is added to the water which makes any of the smaller bits of dirt stick together, a bit like a magnet. We then bubble air into the bottom of the tank, which pushes the tiny particles to the top. There they can be easily scraped off. We take this sludge away and we dry it out to make sludge cake. Can you see the little brown dots gather together and clump to the top? To ensure there's no dirt left in the water, we put the water through a filter. You may have seen a filter in a fish tank which helps to keep the water clean. We use sand filters, and as the water trickles through the sand, any small particles of dirt left will get stuck in the sand, and the water will squeeze on through to the next stage. This process takes about 4 hours, and the water is always filtered twice. Can you see the little black dots get stuck in the spaces in the sand? What do you think the red dots might represent? Those little red dots you seen were the germs. These are microscopic, so small they can squeeze through the filter. So the final stage is killing off those germs, because that's what can make us sick. To do this, we use chlorine. But don't worry, it's not as much as they would use at the swimming pool. Just enough to kill those germs and make sure the water comes safely through to our houses. The whole treatment process lasts about 24 hours, and every day we clean 570 million litres of water. That's an awful lot of water. Safe, clean water then flows through a system of pipes straight into our taps. Each of us uses about 155 litres of tap water every day, but that's not the end of the story. Join my colleague Pat on the next lesson to find out more.